Hey, welcome to Crizzy Books. This is the monthly wrap-up for November 2025. I'm going to talk about everything that I read in November, and then I'm going to talk about everything that I plan to read in December. So let's just get into it. I read 4 books in November. All of them were pretty good. I started it off by reading a Western called Butcher's Crossing by John Williams. It was really unorthodox. This is a very different Western, which I really like. I'm drawn to Westerns that are not your typical like cowboy shoot 'em up stuff. I like that, but I like a Western that takes a different angle. This is about a Harvard graduate who goes out to Kansas and he wants to go on a buffalo hunt. So he gets into contact with these buffalo hunters. He funds their entire hunt and they go out into the wilderness and hunt buffalo. And he doesn't just fund it. He's not just there to be some like hoity-toity asshole. He helps out with stuff. He learns the ropes. He does all of this just to experience it. He has no like desire to make any money off of anything. He's just there to take part in it. I wasn't really sure what to expect with this book, but it surprised me how much I liked it by the end of it, because during the middle of it, I was kind of like, where are we going? What are we doing here? But I think by the end, it all kind of comes together and clicks. This kind of like interesting take on not only like the brutality of the West, but also the brutality of society and like capitalism and how that like can just demolish you just as fast as like a rattlesnake biting you on the leg. After that, I finally read Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I have been meaning to read this book for years now. I don't read a ton of fantasy. I like fantasy. I just don't read it very often. And typically when I read fantasy, I want to read something that is a little more realistic, a little more grimy, a lot of violence, like Game of Thrones, The First Law. Mistborn, from what I was gathering and from everything I kept seeing, it sounded like a young adult book. I felt like it was going to be for babies. Pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed the shit out of this book. I thought it was great. There's a couple of things that I felt like were cliche. The characters are maybe a little too one note. If I had to compare it to something, it's like Marvel, like the MCU. I love those movies, and I know they're not that good. They're not very deep, just enough like characterization, a good quick moving plot, and actually a lot more brutal violence than I was expecting. It's just all there, and action and excitement, that it kept me interested, and this book moves at lightning speed. It was such a fun ride. I don't think it's perfect, but I really loved it. I had a great time with it. I can't wait to read the next one, honestly. Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones. This is a werewolf book set in modern times. I think like, if I had to guess, like 70s, 80s. It follows a young boy as he is growing up. He lives with his aunt and uncle who are werewolves. He just kind of talks about their life. He hasn't turned into a werewolf yet. They're expecting him to when he's in like his teen years, but he's not there yet. And so we're just seeing bits of their life and his aunt and uncle, and like getting this insight into what it's like to be a werewolf in modern society. And it really dives deep into those things. And I loved all of that stuff. It reminded me a lot of a book I read earlier this year called The Lesser Dead by Christopher Buehlman. That does a similar thing, but with vampires. It doesn't change any of the lore of a werewolf. Like, silver still hurts them. It just kind of pokes at those things and like dives a little deeper into it and makes it more realistic. And like, this is probably what it would actually be like. The only thing I didn't love about it, 2 things. The writing in it is just a little off. He writes it, I don't even know really how to describe it, almost stream of consciousness sometimes. And I'm not opposed to the like literary approach to a werewolf story like this. I actually really love that idea. And I think that sometimes it works, but overall it just doesn't work. I felt like it was too distracting. Like every time it happened, I was like, what? Like I thought maybe I was reading it wrong or something. And there was also a part in the plot that I found to be a little too ridiculous compared to everything else. But overall, still pretty damn good. I did like it. If you like werewolves, this is a really good werewolf book out of the ones that I've read so far. The last book that I read in November was Firestarter by Stephen King. This is one of those books that I never really hear anybody talk about when it comes to Stephen King. I was interested to see, is it good? Is it bad? I think this is a pretty underrated Stephen King book. Stranger Things just came out. This book, very much like the plot of Stranger Things. Well, part of the plot. It's about a girl who has like telekinetic powers, it's like pyrokinetic power. She can make fire with her mind, and a shadowy government entity wants to get her and run tests on her and maybe use her as a weapon. I felt like it flowed really well. It's a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Super enjoyable. It's got all the great King things that you like, a lot of characterization, a lot of like random details. He really fleshes out everything in this one. And by comparison to the other King books I read this year, this was definitely a standout. I liked it a lot. So that was everything that I read in November. So let's get into what I plan on reading in December. This year, I decided I was going to pick kind of a theme. I did this for October and picked a bunch of horror books that I wanted to read. For December, I'm going to do something similar, where I'm going to pick books that have a kind of cold theme to them, winter theme to them. Starting off with White Fang. I started this last night, White Fang by Jack London. I'm not very far into it, so I don't really have anything to say about it. I read Call of the Wild last year, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite books ever. Now, obviously, I had to go with the next logical choice of White Fang. Moon of the Crusted Snow. I don't really know anything about this one. I think it's post-apocalyptic, maybe? I could be making that up. I really don't know much about it. I am going to finally read In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. See what I did there? I don't think this has a cold or winter theme at all, but I thought it would be funny to put it's cold in the name. I have been putting off reading this book for about 15 years. I believe this is the book that spawned the genre of true crime. We're finally going to read it. Lastly, or at some point in between some of these, I'm going to read Mistborn 2, The Well of Ascension. Very much looking forward to continuing that story. Outside of my reading, December is the month where I will start to make all of my year-end list videos. Just like I did last year, I'll probably do my top sci-fi, my top horror, and probably my top of all time. I might throw a couple more in there, but those are the three that I will definitely be making. So be on the lookout for those here in the next few weeks. Crizzy's going to be making some clickbait. How was your November? What did you read? What was the best thing that you read? Let me know in the comments below. What are you planning on reading in December? If you are on Goodreads or Fable, you can follow me on both. You can see what I'm reading now, what I've read in the past, and what I plan to read in the future, all that good stuff. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye.